How's it going, everyone? So a couple days ago, we just got the new Resident Evil Requiem showcase. And to be honest, most of that was an advertisement for Porsche and Hamilton watches, and some other, I guess, having an Nvidia guy come on and talk for like 5 minutes. And we got a look at another look at a really kind of bad-looking, lazy-looking Switch controller. But we still got some really good looks at the gameplay for Leon and Grace. And honestly, I'm just so excited for this game. I felt like I wanted to make a video with my thoughts about the showcase and the game in general, and my predictions maybe, and just overall thoughts on the information that we have so far. So starting with what we saw from Grace, there's a few things. I think the majority of the presentation was kind of more on Leon's side, but we did see some really cool Grace stuff that I'm excited about. The first thing was this hemolytic injector that she can craft, and apparently you sneak up on a zombie and put it in their throat, and they explode into giblets, which looks awesome. A ton of blood. I actually love that. There's so much blood. It looks really cool. And if you look closely here, there's also a note in the description that discusses preventing corpses from mutating, which is really interesting. And it immediately makes me think of the Crimson Heads from RE1. I would love if those came back. I thought that was a super interesting enemy. It was a lot of fun to deal with, and I thought it added like a pretty interesting layer to the gameplay. So something where if you don't deal with corpses in some special way once they're on the ground, they'll come back stronger later. I think that would be fun, and a good callback to RE1 there for Grace. We also see footage of Grace getting Leon's Requiem revolver and using it. Obviously, I'm assuming that Leon is the one that gives that to her at some point. We see how strong it is. It like rips through the zombies there. And honestly, it seems like that gun should also blow her arms off. It's so strong. But it does look really cool. In terms of the timeline and where this exchange happens, I think it makes sense that the scenes where we see Leon with the Requiem revolver occur before the scenes that we see Grace having it and using it. It doesn't really make sense in my head that Leon gives a gun to like a scared girl in Grace and then comes back later and says, "Wait, give me that back," so he can do like some sick dodge and execution of the back of the head and just like aura farm. I think once Grace has it, it's hers, and then that footage that we see Leon using it kind of occurs in the very beginning, like one of the first chapters we play as Leon, if not that first chapter. Now for Leon, there's a good bit more footage for him. We see some really brutal executions, and my suspicion is that these are automatic and unique to the gun that Leon is actually using when they're triggered. So, for example, we see Leon with a quick shot execution with the pistol, and then one with an animation for the shotgun that blows off this poor lady's head, and then there's the really sick one with the Requiem revolver. So interesting, yeah, there isn't any prompt that I've seen that triggers these animations. Unlike the things where you shoot the zombie's legs and then he goes and kicks its head or kicks its chest or whatever like that, you could see like the little animation triggers. Of course, this is like dev footage, so they could just be hiding those, but it doesn't really make sense to me to be showing it for melee attacks like an RE4 remake, but then hiding it for these. I'm wondering if it's similar to a parry, except with a gun, kind of like in Bloodborne, where you do that. If you shoot a zombie right before they grab or hit you, you're rewarded with this cool animation execution thing. Now, along with that, in the same clip, we could see that Leon's sharpening his axe, kind of like in, in Monster Hunter, which is funny to look at. I have no idea how that's going to play, but it is going to be interesting. It looks like he's doing it really fast, and it sharpens the axe all the way up to 100%, which is strange, but I have no idea how that's going to work, which is cool. But, I mean, look how like bloody this stuff is. In this whole showcase, I think Leon decapitates like 10 people. It's not even decapitating. He just explodes their entire head, which I love. It's awesome. I mean, Leon's been through so much at this point. He should be exploding heads. These are like fodder zombies. Leon's dealt with so many of these guys. He's just like mowing through them. It's nice that like the blood splatters all over the environment. It's like you could actually see it just go everywhere. Someone made a good point. I saw that they said that, I mean, your favorite YouTube content creators are going to have issues monetizing the content they make for Requiem because it's just so gory, which is something else to worry about. But I mean, for now, in terms of how the game is, I love that. It looks great. There's also one clip of Leon sneaking by an antique coin, which most of you know, that's RE7 stuff. We'll have to see kind of if that's actual currency for a shop of some sort, or we're gonna see those cages from RE7 come back. In my opinion, I'm leaning towards kind of the cages thing, but I'll kind of go more into that later when we talk about like Leon's UI and stuff. So another thing I saw that I thought was pretty interesting, they showed some difficulties that they have. So they have casual, standard, modern, and standard classic. And I thought it was a bit strange first. I was very excited to see that standard classic has ink ribbons coming back because I would love to have a game with ink ribbons again. I can't. It's weird to me a little bit that they split, standard into modern and classic. I guess it makes sense, right? If you're trying to get people who haven't played the older games with the ink ribbons, they might get frustrated and be like, "I just lost 15 minutes of progress, 20 minutes of progress," or running out of ink ribbons. It's frustrating, and I think people today are a lot less forgiving or accepting of being frustrated in a game. So allowing people to play on modern is going to make people a lot less likely to get angry, which I think is, whatever. That's just how it goes. I'll definitely be playing on classic. What I am most interested in is how they're going to deal with the more difficult game modes. Once you finish the game, you get, professional or whatever Village of Shadows is beyond that. I'm hoping that they force you to use ink ribbons on that game mode. And that the modern, autosave stuff is only something that's available on that standard difficulty. I think that would be a fair compromise. Let people have their first run through on standard, have it do an autosave, that's fine. But if you want to try it on a harder difficulty, you have to use ink ribbons. It also says that ink ribbons are only on Grace's part, which I'm trying to understand exactly why they would do that. If you guys have any ideas about why they might do that, feel free to let me know. I trust Capcom. I feel like they know what they're doing. I'm hoping that once you get to higher difficulties, they force you to use it for Leon's part as well. But we will see. I'm not going to worry too much about it yet. Another thing, it wasn't in the showcase, but Capcom updated the Resident Evil Requiem homepage with info about the game and all that, but there's also some new screenshots. And the thing I was excited to see were screenshots or a look at the inventories for both Leon and Grace. I feel like people that play games in general, they have just things that they care about disproportionately. I demand that my games have a good quest or non-cringe dialogue, and they find that really important. It's all important, but there are things that people care about disproportionately. And for me, I really care about like a good UI, good UX, and that type of thing. So playing like recent Call of Duties makes me want to kill myself. How bad that UI is. Think about like Battlefield. I've had fun in Battlefield, but the Hulu tile shit when it comes to selecting what playlists or what like game you want to play is so annoying. I hate it. Even Arc Raiders. I've had a lot of fun with Arc Raiders. Using a controller to go through menus in Arc Raiders, especially during like a run, is so frustrating. It's terrible. I hate it so much. Anyway, besides the point. So first of all, we got to look at Grace's. And hers obviously looks very similar to what we've seen from RE2, RE3, RE7. Just the classic, all that stuff. I don't know, see at the bottom, this bottom right, so we see the Requiem revolver, we see the 3 circles kind of. I'm assuming that's for like attachments or upgrades of some sort. I'm not sure what these little boxes, the 2, one with a dash through it, or an X through it, kind of looking slash, and then one is an empty box. I'm not sure what those would be for. And, you could just make wild predictions about that, about how we're going to be able to upgrade weapons with both characters. The more interesting one, I think, is Leon's, because, well, first of all, we got the attaché case back, which I'm very excited about, and I was thinking about this even before, when Leon was just like a rumor. It's like, I hope if they put Leon in, they don't give Leon like the RE2 inventory, because that's not what Leon is anymore. Leon's fucking crazy at this point in the series. But yeah, it actually looks very similar to, it's like a mix between RE4 Remake and RE8, which I like. What I will say is I really hope, I don't know if you guys remember, if you've played RE8 recently versus RE4 Remake, how janky using the attaché case in RE8 was. That inventory, it felt so bad compared to what RE4 Remake felt like just moving things around. Um, so I'm hoping they just copied over the code from RE4 Remake and how that behaved and worked because it was fantastic. So I'm really excited about that. Um, let's see. An interesting thing also is this is going back to the antique coin thing that I saw in the top right. We have the coin icon, so some sort of currency here, right? Now that could be the antique coins, or that could be some pesetas, like RE4 Remake, obviously not here, but whatever currency they're doing. Um, the reason I don't think this is antique coins that go up here is, I mean, look how much space they have. Like this is meant for like 5 digits of currency, 6 digits. Like a lot of numbers can fit there. If you're picking up antique coins one by one, you're gonna get up to like 10 max. I don't think they would give it that much real estate in terms of how many numbers can fit there if you're picking up coins one by one. Um, but yeah, I think the directors also came out and said that there wouldn't be a merchant character. I don't know if that's like a blatant lie or there's going to be some other way of upgrading. Um, it's just all speculation. I have absolutely no idea how they're going to do it. But it does look good. I'm excited about the UI. As weird as that sounds, it looks good to me. So I think that's basically it. Honestly, it all looks so good. I do want to do like a shout out to the voice acting so far. Just seems like fucking crazy. Victor Gideon sounds awesome. The way he says "I liberated you," it's so weird, but I love it. Like it sounds great. Grace saying "What the fuck" at the end sounds great. She's been killing it. She sounds so good. Like as a character, I can't wait to like play a game with her. Um, my prediction for the way this game goes is it's kind of like a passing of the torch type game for Leon to Grace. I think it would be super interesting as like, well, Leon's getting older, right? Obviously he looks like he's in his prime, he's kicking the shit out of things. But they've said that this is Leon's getting pushed to his limit in this game. Obviously we haven't seen that because he's beating the shit out of fodder enemies in the beginning. But it makes sense. Let's say for 7 and 8, right, you're introducing a new character to the franchise in Ethan Winters. Ethan's a bit of a nobody. And a lot of the games, people are saying like, okay, this is great. Like Ethan's cool, but where's Chris? Where's Jill and Claire and Leon? And we saw Chris in RE8 and the very end of RE7, but it's just they were just introducing a character. Like here's a new guy. And I think Leon's coming in this game to help the audience to like Grace, like get to know Grace. And I think it would make sense throughout the game, Grace starting out as somebody who's very scared and unwilling to do things, and then Leon kind of taking her under his wing, and she gets trained up, she gets more confident in what she does, and at the very end, eventually Leon's in a bad spot, and we see Grace do something crazy, save Leon. Leon like barely surviving, he's like out of action, he can no longer do his work, but I mean here's the thing, he gave Grace the Requiem revolver. Grace comes in and saves a beloved character, like the face of the franchise, and Leon. Like Leon looks like he's gonna die, and Grace comes in and saves him. Immediately, the entire fan base is going crazy. They love Grace for doing that, and then suddenly she's like accepted into the main cast of characters, and we see her in future games, and she's doing crazy shit along with Jill, Claire, and Chris. I think it would make a lot of sense. I think it would be smart by Capcom. I would love that story. I would love it if Leon could finally relax and retire or something at the end of this. But I don't know. I'm just excited thinking about the story, thinking about what they could do. If it's something totally different, that's fine. I think Capcom's smart enough to treat all the characters with respect, and they know I think they know what the audience wants. So we'll see. I'm just so excited for this, and I think that's it, guys. Thank you.